Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. His Majesty the King and Queen Camilla were the guests of honour at a dazzling reception and awards ceremony held in aid of Elephant Family, the conservation charity founded by Camilla's late brother, Mark Shand. The event, staged amidst the lush splendour of the Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew, drew a host of notable figures from royalty to international celebrities. Princess Beatrice made a striking appearance in a red Rebecca Valance gown, while attendees also included Lady Marina Windsor, Brazilian football legend Ronaldo Nazário, and actors Ed Westwick and Amy Jackson, and singer Sophie Ellis-Bextor. But the evening's most poignant moment came when Queen Camilla, dressed in a cream tunic with gold embroidery and matching palazzo trousers by Anna Valentine, watched a posthumous video of her brother, Mark Shand, who died in 2014 at the age of 62, following a tragic fall, was seen in the film expressing his enduring hope for the future of endangered elephants. Her Majesty, visibly moved, was joined by her sister, Annabel Elliott, as the room shared in a moment of remembrance. The charity, now part of the King's British Asian Trust, continues Shand's mission of protecting Asia's elephants and mitigating human-wildlife conflict. His Majesty, wearing a tie adorned with an elephant motif, gave an impromptu address after presenting a conservation award, remarking, "This evening is an opportunity as well to pay a special tribute, I think, to all the wonderful people who are doing all the work on the ground in India to rescue not just elephants now, but even more species as the Trust and the elephant family develop an even greater ability to manage the human and animal conflict." It just seems to me that this is a great example of why collaboration is far better than conflict, and also why, if we're going to rescue this poor planet from continuing degradation and restore some harmony to the proceedings, we must also understand that whatever we take and exploit from nature, we need to give something back in return to enable nature to sustain us. Their Majesties began the event at the Temperate Gate, greeted by a stilt walker dressed as a peacock, before hosting a private reception for 50 guests in the Marianne North Gallery. From there, they were led down an avenue lined with 30 decorative eggs, part of the Big Egg Hunt, a public art trail across London aiming to raise both funds and awareness for the charity. Among the artists featured was one who had created a Union flag-themed egg with the words, "God Save the Queen," citing 1970s inspiration. Earlier in the week, Charles, in his role as Colonel-in-Chief of the Household Cavalry, was joined by Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, Colonel of the Blues and Royals, for a solemn and splendid occasion on 12th of May, the presentation of new standards to the Lifeguards and the Blues and Royals. The ceremony, held within the quadrangle at Windsor Castle, paid tribute to the enduring legacy and ceremonial brilliance of the Household Cavalry, the two most senior regiments in the British Army. These new standards, steeped in tradition and honour, serve as sacred emblems of regimental history, valour and identity. On arrival, His Majesty was received with a royal salute and the national anthem. The King, accompanied by the Princess Royal and Lieutenant General Sir Edward Smythe Osborne, Colonel of the Lifeguards, then proceeded to inspect the troops on parade. The Chaplain General of His Majesty's Land Forces consecrated the new standards, which were presented to the King before being passed to the commanding officers of each regiment. A royal fanfare sounded as the parade marched past the dais, capping the formal portion of the proceedings. Addressing the assembled squadrons, the King remarked, "The Household Cavalry is renowned worldwide for the splendours of all those unique ceremonies at the heart of the nation. And today, seeing you all on parade here, I can see you continue to represent the very best of that ceremonial brilliance. The Household Cavalry, dating back to 1660, has long served as both the personal guard of the sovereign and a ceremonial symbol of the British Army's finest traditions." Speaking of horses, the King and legendary trainer Willie Mullins have forged an historic agreement, one that sees a horse bred by the late Queen Elizabeth join the stable of Ireland's most decorated national hunt handler. The horse, a 4-year-old gelding named Reaching High, will be trained by Mullins in what is believed to be the first time a reigning British monarch has a horse trained in Ireland. Reaching High, previously trained by the now-retired Sir Michael Stout, stunned onlookers with a commanding 7-length victory in the Racing League at Wolverhampton last August. Though that was his sole win from 8 starts, his pedigree suggests a much brighter future. He is out of Estimate, the late Queen's beloved mare, who captured the Ascot Gold in 2013 and sired by the legendary See the Stars, the 2000 Guineas, Derby and Arc-winning Titan of 2009. Mullins, who trained the first three home in this year's Grand National and was crowned both British and Irish jumps champion trainer, said he first met the King at Royal Ascot last year. A deal was quietly struck at that meeting, and the fruit of that conversation now comes in the form of reaching high. Speaking to the Irish Field, Mullins confirmed plans for a Royal Ascot bid, saying he could be a contender for the Ascot Stakes over 2.5 miles on the opening day of Royal Ascot. His pedigree is all stamina, so those kind of races should suit him. The gelding is due to make his debut for Mullins at Leopardstown this Friday. The royal racing operation, once thought likely to be downsized following the King's accession, has instead continued to flourish under the stewardship of both King Charles and Queen Camilla. The Queen Consort is known to be a passionate supporter of the sport. Charles faces a significant generational challenge as new polling reveals a distinct lack of enthusiasm for the monarchy among Britons under the age of 50. The latest data from YouGov, which has tracked royal popularity since 2017, offers a sobering insight into the views of younger citizens. While the King maintains a narrow net positive rating among 18 to 24-year-olds and performs modestly better among 25 to 49-year-olds, his standing falls well below the popularity he enjoys with those aged 50 and above. Queen Camilla fares even worse. According to the survey, she holds a net negative rating among both younger demographics and is in fact the second least popular royal among 18 to 24-year-olds, surpassed in unpopularity only by Prince Andrew. Perhaps most strikingly, Queen Camilla does not appear to benefit from any halo effect derived from her husband's support among older Britons. Among the over 50s, she trails the King by more than 20 points in favourability. More broadly, the royal family's collective standing with younger generations is cause for concern. The 18 to 24 cohort currently views the institution with a net popularity score of 0, a precarious midpoint that could tip decisively in either direction in the years to come. The YouGov data also revealed that Meghan Markle has reached a record low in popularity in the UK since polling began 8 years ago. Harry, however, solace may be found not at home but across the Atlantic. In the United States, where he and the Duchess now reside, Prince Harry remains more popular than in the UK. 56% of Americans hold a very or fairly positive view of the Duke compared to 21% with a negative opinion. Yet even on American soil, the Duke finds himself eclipsed by his elder brother. Prince William scored a commanding 63% positive rating from US respondents, with only 10% holding a negative view, placing him ahead of both Harry and their spouses. The Princess of Wales also fared well with American audiences, garnering a 49% favourable rating. The King himself earned a respectable 48% positive score. In contrast, the Duchess of Sussex drew a 41% positive rating, placing her below the other senior royals currently in the public eye. The least popular royals in the United States, according to the poll, were Queen Camilla and Prince Andrew. By contrast, the most beloved figures remain two icons of the past, the late Diana, Princess of Wales, and Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. More palace in just a moment. In a rare public rebuke, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has taken aim at King Charles for remaining silent in the face of US President Donald Trump's increasingly provocative statements about annexing Canada. Since returning to office in January, President Trump has repeatedly floated the notion of Canada becoming America's 51st state, a suggestion that has sparked outrage north of the border and placed Britain in a diplomatically awkward position given King Charles' dual role as monarch of both countries. Carney, who swept to victory in last month's Canadian federal election on promise to stand firm against Trump, has criticised both the British government and the palace for what he characterises as an ill-judged and ill-timed gesture, inviting President Trump for a second state visit to the United Kingdom. Speaking to Sky News, Mr. Carney said, "I think, to be frank, Canadians weren't impressed by that gesture, given the circumstance. It was at a time we were being quite clear about the issues around sovereignty. Although the King has made symbolic efforts in recent months, including donning Canadian honours, planting a maple tree and referring to himself as King of Canada, Carney made clear these gestures were not seen as sufficient in the current climate, adding, all issues around Canada's sovereignty have been accentuated by the President. So no, it's not coincidental. But it is also a reaffirming moment for Canadians," referring to the King's forthcoming attendance at Canada's state opening of Parliament on 27th of May, the first time a reigning British monarch has done so since 1977. Charles is said to be very sad over his lack of a relationship with his California-based grandchildren, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. Yet, according to sources close to the monarch, Prince Harry's recent remarks to the BBC have only served to deepen the existing rift, leaving trust between father and son at a complete standstill. The king, who has not seen Archie and Lilibet in person for several years, reportedly remains open to reconciliation but views the path forward as contingent upon Harry's actions, a source explained. The king does not like conflict, and he would love for all of this to be resolved, but Harry has to earn the trust back. The ball is in his court in that respect. The king loves his son, and he is very sad that he has not spent any time with Archie and Lilibet, but Harry hasn't made a reconciliation easy. That said, the door is always open as far as the king is concerned. He's a magnanimous man, not a malicious man, but his priority is the preservation of the monarchy. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or the app of your choice, and leave us a nice review if you're enjoying the show. Don't forget, we have a new show out from your family here at Kelleroka Shark Media. It's called Did He Do It? And it's a daily following of the Sean Diddy Combs sex trial in New York City. And you can get daily updates from the podcast, Did He Do It? Available wherever you get your podcasts, like this one. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.